Are we ready, Sarah?
Yes, we are.
Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Caitlin Hammock, and I'm the current student advocate. I'm a senior, about to graduate, 17 days away. And yeah, I'm a social work major. And yeah, so I will be moderating this panel for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which is the month of April. April flew by fast. It's crazy. But we'll just start out and I'll have you all kind of introduce yourselves. So your name, department, what you do, what your role in relation to sexual assault is, and just kind of whatever other background information you have. So we can start with Sarah and then just work our way down from there.
Sounds good. Thank you, Caitlin. I am Sarah Zafar. I am the Title IX coordinator here at Wichita State, and my office is part of the Office of Institutional Equity and Compliance. So our office is responsible for receiving and addressing all reports of discrimination and harassment that are based on protected characteristics like age, race, religion, and sex. And Title IX specifically is focused on reports of sexual harassment and discrimination, which includes sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking as well.
Amazing. And Marcy, if you want to go next, I'm just going by what I see on my screen.
Sure thing. So I'm Marcy Young. I am the Director of Prevention and Outreach at Counseling and Prevention Services, or CAPS, on campus here. And we do, I'm a clinical psychologist, and so I do both therapy and also oversee prevention and outreach efforts. And in this case, that would be providing training or support for students in this area.
Thank you so much. And Heather, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Heather Stafford. I am a registered nurse and the Associate Director at Student Health Services. Basically, I run the clinic side here at Student Health, and we make sure that all of our staff is currently trained, make sure that they can handle any sexual assault or violence situations that come through. We also have a nurse who's currently getting SAAM certified, so sexual assault nurse examiner. And then, we do a lot of programming around campus, and I'm usually the one who coordinates that. And we go in and do a lot of presentations and programming that may have to do not only with sexual health, but to go along with that, healthy relationships and STIs and sexual assault.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And Captain Hurl?
Well, hello. I'm Captain Corey Hurl, over the support side of the police department here on campus. Part of what my duties include is the training of new officers, everybody that comes through here. And part of what we do with our training is preparing officers to handle these types of situations, which includes working with everybody that's on this panel here to help with resources. Obviously, our part of it is more the criminal side, but reaching out to these other entities on campus and off campus is really a primary part of what we do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Meredith, last but not least.
Hi, my name is Meredith. I work for the Wichita Area Sexual Assault Center. So I'm not an employee of the university, but I provide outreach to WSU students. So students can meet with me individually. I also co-facilitate a support group with the Counseling Center for healing from trauma. And so anyone who's a survivor can contact me and set up an appointment and really just talk about anything they want. I'm a confidential source for folks on campus.
Amazing, thank you. All right, so now that we've got our introductions, we know what everyone does. Now we'll move on to just some questions. And I think if anyone has like something they really want to say, you can unmute and say it. If not, I'll call on you. So how does your department or office handle reports or disclosures of sexual assault on campus? And what about off-campus reports as well? So if anyone has something they really want to speak to on that, go ahead.
So I will start with that question. Basically, because our office is the one that receives reports of those types of things, both from on and off campus. I know that UPD as well receives those kind of in a different way. So I'll let Captain Hurl talk about that. But for us, what we do is anytime that we get a report, we will meet, like our office staff will meet to discuss the report and kind of what the next steps should be. And then we send an outreach letter to every affected person. We call those the complainants. And so we will send an outreach letter that kind of details what we do and what services are available through us, and then also connects with all of the resources that are on this panel today. And so we make sure that folks know about their options with reporting to University Police or Wichita Police if it's not within university jurisdiction. And we make sure that they know about student health services, counseling and prevention services, and the Wichita Area Sexual Assault Center advocate, Meredith, who works with our campus. And so we put all of that information in the letter. We put a link to our policy in there. I don't expect people to fully read it, but it does have all the information that somebody might need. And so we put a link to our policy in there as well. And then what we do is we invite them to meet with us. So we're not making anybody come in and meet with us if they are not comfortable or ready. And then if they do take us up on that, then we will meet and go over their options, discuss the incident, all of those types of things. So that's what we do for both on and off campus, because depending on the situation, the definition of on campus also includes anything that is controlled by the university. So events that take place technically off campus, but the university has maybe rented a facility or something like that. Or it's an organization, a student organization that has done so, anything that we have control over as a university. And then we also have to make sure that we have control over both of the parties, as well as the conduct itself. And so it looks a little bit different. We're not a criminal process, we are an administrative process. But that's what we do. And so we will look at on and off campus to decide what we can do and what options there are.
Amazing, thank you so much.
Well, since you called on me, I suppose I'll springboard off there. Like Sarah said, that theirs isn't the criminal side, ours is, but that also boils down to that individual victim's choice. They're absolutely not required to make a report with us. If they do contact us, they decide, well, I don't want to make an official report. That's completely their choice, and that's fine with us. We're not here to pressure anybody into starting that process, because we understand how rough that can be, and whether or not that might be counter to their healing from that. So the other things that we can do, if it's not just, pursuing criminal charges, attempt to arrest offenders, and gathering information for prosecution, is to help guide them through this process with all these resources here, contacting WASAC, contacting, CAPS, putting in our care report instead of it just being a police report, putting in a report to the Office of Institutional Equity and Compliance or Title IX, those types of things that we can help guide them through, as well as if it does happen off campus, reaching out, helping them contact their local jurisdiction or who might be responsible for that if they want to, we try to give as much power as we can in that instance, to help them, and give them that educational piece so they know what's going on as well, and to see what might be coming in the future.
Amazing. Yeah, I think collaborating and connecting everyone with the resources is so important. Speaking of resources, Meredith, do you want to share what WASAC does, how you handle reports and disclosures of sexual assault?
Yeah, so I will say I'm not really on the same side as far as reporting. Definitely, if folks ask about information with reporting or need help filling out the report or don't know where to go, I can absolutely point them in that direction, but I'm not necessarily taking a report. More kind of focused on the emotional support piece and kind of guiding the survivor where to go next. So more kind of responding to that disclosure. I really appreciated what Captain Hurl said about the element of choice. I think that's huge, allowing the survivor to define what they do next and not having them feel obligated. So that's kind of my main goal, is telling them all the different ways I can be helpful and then allowing them to choose where we go from there, whether that's connecting them with more resources at WASAC, continually meeting with me, coming to support group or not. That's okay. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, that self-determination piece is so important. We talk about that a lot in my social work classes. And Heather, do you want to talk about the student health side of handling these reports and disclosures?
I think a lot of times what happens at student health is a student will make an appointment for some type of service. So they may come in for a pregnancy test or STI testing, not necessarily disclosing that they were sexually assaulted. And so when the nurse takes them in and interviews them at the initial part of the appointment, it may come out, it may not. But then we can offer them different services in the health clinic as far as STI testing, for any sort of anything really. We can do gonorrhea, chlamydia, HIV, all of those things. We can do a pregnancy test. We can offer them Plan B, so emergency contraception if it's needed at that time. We can draw lots of blood. We can also, we talk to a lot of students, and so we can also provide that emotional support as well. But since we are right with CAPS and the Student Wellness Center, we usually do strongly encourage them to make an appointment after their appointment with us to make sure that, emotionally wise, they get that support they need as well. And I think the other part that people need to know is that student health is we are not mandatory reporters on campus. So if somebody discloses something to us about sexual assault, we do not have to report that as other offices or different departments may have to. So what they tell us is confidential in between a healthcare provider and you. And I think the thing that we do try to do though is, whether it's on campus or off campus, kind of get some specific information just so that we can assist them. But then when we do find out maybe it happened on campus or it happened with another WSU student, we do encourage them and tell them, we can contact UPD and have them come over here to talk to them or whatever it may be, to make it more of a more comfortable situation when it happens in the Student Wellness Center. So that's some of the things that we can do to assist.
Amazing, thank you for sharing. And finally, Miss Marcy.
There's so many amazing resources across campus, and like student health, we are confidential. And so if somebody comes in, they can be referred to us, or you can just choose to call and make an appointment, any currently enrolled student. If somebody comes in and says that they have experienced any kind of sexual violence, we don't have to report that out to the university. And I just want to be really super clear about that, because sometimes people come in for treatment, and if it's individual therapy or group therapy, however that looks, when you're in that space, that is a confidential space. And it can be, there's been, I know, some misconceptions about that. And so I just like to be really clear. And so we can provide individual therapy, group therapy. We do that trauma support group with WASAC, which is amazing. And whatever our goal is to be trauma informed and trained, and to hold a space for individuals to decide what they want to do. Everyone's been talking about autonomy and choice, and that is definitely something that we want to foster. If we love to connect people to resources, help them understand what some of the processes might look like. And that's absolutely their choice. Whatever we can do to best facilitate their healing and moving forward in a way that is meaningful and valued to them.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate CAPS on campus. All right. So how does your office or department serve as a resource to students and employees? So this one kind of encapsulates employees as well as students. So how does your office serve that population?
So this is probably going to look a little bit different depending on who answers it, but for our office, we do cover employees as well as students. We cover everybody on campus, and that also includes visitors and guests as well. You know, anyone that is under our jurisdiction at the time that something might happen. And so in terms of serving as a resource, you know, we are, you know, definitely wanting to make sure that people know about our supportive services that we offer. There are things that my office can do that not any other office on campus might be able to do, or with as much efficiency. And so, you know, and I can get into this a little bit more, but the resources that we offer are things like those supportive services, academic adjustments to schedules or to assignments, working with instructors on, you know, extending deadlines or opening up quizzes, things like that, you know, just whatever it looks like, whether it's remote or in person. We can work with housing, we can work with human resources if it's an employee issue, again, in terms of scheduling or things like that. And so we definitely serve both employees and students. And that's something that I want to make really clear, because I think employees sometimes think it's only for students, students sometimes think it's only for employees. And that can get confusing because there are certain resources on campus that are only available to one or the other. And so really wanting to make clear that my office, Equity and Compliance and Title IX, is absolutely for everybody on campus.
Thank you, thank you. And whoever else wants to go next, just unmute and go for it.
I guess we'll just continue in the route we've been going. So much like Sarah's group, we're for everybody on this campus: visitors, faculty, staff, students, everybody that's out here as a resource. We're the emergency response crew. But understand that part of this, since I'm going to speak to training because it falls under me, we start off, hopefully we're starting off the right way. We start our officers learning about the SAAM SART, you know, sexual assault nurse examiner, sexual assault response team trainings, learning about WASAC, where they're at, how to get a hold of them, learning about all these departments on campus that are here, including others, so they know where to find help for somebody else to begin with. So when we're doing the investigation of these incidents, when we're arresting the offenders or, you know, charging the crimes, we've already got a better process in place, and we've reached out, and hopefully, you know, if it's going to go case wise, that's fine. We present in better cases that way. If it's just going to be, hey, their safety, their health, their well-being, you know, then that's fine too. Whatever we can do for somebody to make them, you know, feel better, feel safe, and feel taken care of is really our point of focus. Beyond that, we do have some trainers for RAD, which is Rape Aggression Defense Training. We give safety talks. We also have trainers that are certified in what's called Refuse to be a Victim training. Again, things that you can learn to do beforehand to improve your response if you're ever in an incident. So we've got that as well to help out and beyond just our resources and beyond what somebody else may want to do or not want to do, you know.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And if we just want to keep going in the order we've been going, I think that'll be the easiest route. So I'll repeat the question again since it's been a minute. But how does your office or department serve as a resource to students and employees? So Meredith.
Yeah, so I have actually spoken with employees before who have gone through something and wanted to chat. There's really no reason why I can't do that. So I have absolutely done that before. Really my services, like I've said, are really tailored to students. So if students want to know what it looks like, where to find the reporting form, things like that, what the process might look like, we can talk about that. If students want emotional support, I can provide that too. And then obviously my support group that I mentioned. So those are my resources that I provide. But some people have unique situations. And so often I find myself looking at different resources or pulling different things or contacting different people. There's really, advocacy is a very kind of a free-flowing thing. So it really looks like everyone's situation is so different. So I can do a lot of different things. I feel like that was maybe a little vague, but
Oh,
it's
you're good.
true. So yeah, not a one size fits all thing at all. So.
Oh yeah, advocacy is so broad. I've definitely learned that through the student advocate position as well. It's very much tailored to each person. So thank you.
Vague is good. I like vague sometimes. For student health, students pay student fees, and so that is pretty much a lot of times where our direction goes, is based towards students. However, we do lab work for faculty and staff. We do vaccination, and there's lots of different services that faculty and staff employees have access to at student health. If somebody was to walk in crisis situation, which we've had some of those during COVID, when not all resources are available. So they would come to us. And so it's not like we would turn anybody away who is really seeking help at the time. So I think that even though it may seem like student health only sees students, I think a lot of staff and faculty know, and especially because of COVID, because of all of the things that we've done to assist them, that they know that they can come to us if they need to.
Awesome, thank you.
Everyone loves student health. They're amazing. As far as CAPS goes, so I talked a little bit about individual and group and crisis resources for students. And for staff and faculty, we also provide some consultation services. So if you have concerns, you're not sure about how to handle a situation, or you just want to reach out and say, I'm concerned, we provide that for staff and faculty as well. More on the prevention side is where we have more interaction with staff and faculty. We go in and do presentations in classrooms. We do activities with students and with the campus community, just providing information about sexual violence prevention and how to create a culture of safety and caring on our campus. We also have the Prevention Ambassadors, which is a peer education group that goes out and is happy to do these presentations as well. So for students, if they want to connect with other students in this area, we have that as a resource.
Awesome, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really excited that the Prevention Ambassadors has become a thing. I definitely would have joined it if I wasn't a senior.
You got 17 days left.
It's enough time to do a little bit. Right, so our next question for discussion is, how do you work together with other offices on campus to address sexual assault? So really, it's kind of what we're doing right now, working together at the other offices. But if you all want to kind of expand on that and just talk about some specific things that you do with other offices and collaboration, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite parts of this job, is the collaborative work that I do with all of these other folks. And there are some who aren't on this panel that we also work with. But I am all about, open communication and making sure that we all know what each other do. And when a student or an employee comes to me and they've made a report and they're wanting to know what their options are, I always make sure to tell them, what their choices are in terms of reporting. If there is a criminal aspect to it, that they can report to law enforcement, and really explain like what that looks like and how that works. And the only reason I can do that is because I know, I've worked with Captain Hurl and I've worked with other folks at UPD, and I know how they process things. And so I have the ability to explain that to them. And it's the same with student health. It's the same with counseling and prevention. Caitlin, with your position as the student advocate, I've definitely referred students toward you before, and to WASAC as well. And so, we also sometimes make referrals to student conduct or to care team. They aren't some of the resources that we typically list in our outreach, but they are absolutely folks that might be the right place for a report if for some reason maybe it doesn't fall under what we do. And again, the only reason that I really feel comfortable doing that is because we all work so closely together. A lot of us sit on committees together in other areas of the university. We're always in communication with each other. We're always working together. And that is what allows us, from my office or from any of the offices, to provide a holistic response. We're not just responding to one piece of somebody's experience with sexual assault. We want to make sure the university is responding to all of it, that we are that we're looking at all the different sides of this and what somebody might need, and trying to provide that and kind of ease that communication and ease those connections as much as possible, because we recognize that this is, typically very traumatic stuff, and we don't want to add to that. We don't want folks to think that, now they have to navigate all of this other stuff. The more we can do for them and the more we can help them do that, the better. And so, I like to think that I have good working relationships with everybody on this screen, and several others as well. And, that's something that, I have taken a lot of pride in establishing, because I think it's so important to being able to provide an effective response to people who are experiencing these types of things.
Oh yeah, definitely. That holistic response is so important and so helpful. And I know students appreciate that too. Captain Hurl?
Well, I don't have a whole lot more to add because Sarah's right. Everybody on this panel knows each other pretty well, including some, like I said, that aren't here. We realize we're not on an island. I'm not an expert in what Marcy does. I'm not an expert in what Heather does. I'm not an expert in what Meredith does or what Sarah does. They're my resources for this wraparound service that we're trying to provide individuals who have experienced something like this. It's not my way. I'm trying to make this path for the survivor to get them to what they need. If it's more my end, great. If it's more Heather's end, that's fine too. It's not about me. It's not about us. It's about this whole group helping that individual. So we build these relationships now because it works so much easier, the back and forth, and like Sarah said, knowing what you do to help this process along.
Oh yeah. Thank you. And if anyone else has anything else to add, just go for it.
I think we've all talked a lot about our connection and collaboration and getting people the resources. And I just think we just want everyone on campus to know that that's what we want for them. Like, this isn't an unwilling thing. It's not like, oh, I have to go talk to Captain Hurl again. Like we really want to have this space for everyone. So when we're suggesting these other resources, that is because we believe in them, and so take what's going to be good for you. Mm-hmm. But
Marcy, you almost took the exact words. I have trust for all of these people here.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets built over time, and we've built that over time. I have the utmost faith in everybody in here to be able to do their part.
Oh yeah, I think that's so valuable, knowing what piece of the puzzle you are and knowing that like you can't absorb someone else's piece because that's not where you're competent. I think that's really important. Heather or Meredith, do you have anything else to add on this question?
I don't have much. I was just going to comment on my position as a little bit of an outsider. You know, I'm not an employee of WSU, so collaboration and fostering relationships has been really important, and kind of knowing where I can go. And everyone has been really receptive to me. Also, another kind of way that I collaborate is through education. So going into classrooms and things like that, talking about sexual assault, responding to disclosures, college sexual assault, things like that. That's another way to kind of collaborate within the university. But yeah, I was just speaking to my kind of position. And being able to collaborate with these folks has been really awesome. So
Awesome, thank you for sharing. Alrighty, so next one. What do you all wish students and or employees knew about your department or office? So what are like some misconceptions that you would like to debunk? What are some stereotypes of your office that you think there are? Just what do you want students to know about your office? What do you think the most important thing is?
I think for us, I really want people to know that, you know, while we are an administrative process and we are compliance focused, you know, what we are here to do, our role is to ensure that the university is upholding its responsibility to provide a safe, non-discriminatory environment free of harassment, you know, those types of things. And that looks any number of ways, but, you know, we are here to serve the community. And I really want folks to know that, you know, we are not this sort of top down, going to come in, make you participate in our process, you know, make you do things that you're not comfortable doing, you know, throughout the whole process, especially for the complainants, but for the respondents as well, for the people who have had allegations against them. The process is very transparent. It's very voluntary. You know, we can't compel people to participate at any point, nor do we want to. But we want folks to know that we are here and that we are available as a resource. And so that kind of goes back to those supportive measures. I can't help somebody with something like academic, you know, adjustments if they're trying to get extensions on things, or, you know, I can't help people with their housing concerns if I don't know about them, you know, if I don't know that something has happened and that, you know, what the details are so that I can most effectively respond to it. And so, you know, we're never going to force anybody to participate, but we definitely want folks to know what their options are. And that does include things like formal investigation. That does include going through the full grievance process and having a hearing and all of those kinds of things, that this is an option available to you. And if you want to pursue that, then these are the steps you're going to take, and this is what it's going to look like. You know, really trying to lay it all out for people so that they're not caught off guard and not surprised by anything. And, you know, again, just recognizing that we understand what kind of trauma these types of things elicit in people, and we want to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to meet the needs of our community as much as possible. So you know, not ever, we want to encourage people to report, because then we can do something about it, and recognizing that people don't necessarily want to always, but it really is the most efficient way for us to get involved and to help. And, you know, it's very much a voluntary situation unless there's a campus safety threat, or there's a weapon, or there's something that's really going to affect a lot of other people, then we take action. But other than that, people have a lot of say in how these things go. And I want to make sure people know that.
Definitely, definitely. You're not scary. Alrighty, Captain Hurl.
So Sarah basically took my whole first part, because yes, I want people to know that first off, I want people not only be safe here, but to feel safe here. That's our primary concern, but that's what we're here for. We're a service to this community, be it student, faculty, staff, visitor, whatever. And we're here to help in whatever way we can, whatever way they want. So if it's just resource access, advocacy, if it's criminal charging, if it's training for, safety talks, if it's safety escorts, we're willing to do all those things to help out where we can. It's, yes, we are the criminal charging side of this, but a lot of times we're that first call because people don't know where else to go. And that's fine. We'll take that call all day long, and I'll help you get where you need to go. That's an important part of what we do as well. And I'm proud that I've got a crew that is part of that. And I'm proud to be working with the people here that do that. So we're just one part and one piece of that puzzle, like you said earlier.
Definitely. Thank you.
For my piece, I think one thing that I really want people to know in general is that I exist, that I'm here on campus, because it's very often that I have people say, I didn't even know you were here, or I didn't know I could pop in and chat when I was, in person, which I hope to be back soon. But stuff like that, I just really want people to know that I am here. And like I've stressed, I feel like I've said it, multiple times, but my services are tailored to whatever students need. It's free and confidential. I am just here to serve as a support any way I can. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've been trying to think what I really want people to know, because I'm not quite sure at this point. I think, there are sometimes misconceptions that student health is maybe just, currently all of you guys, you're doing your COVID testing and vaccines. That's not true. We're seeing students for all sorts of illnesses and reasons. And the other thing I think I want to tell students that, because we do see a lot of students who maybe have had a sexual assault experience, but longer down the road from that initial experience, so maybe 6 months, 12 months. And we understand that post-traumatic stress disorder and different traumatic situations don't really ever go away for most people. And we do have a mental health nurse practitioner who can assist with that, give you certain medications that can help with that post-traumatic stress, and assist along the way. Just to, sometimes you just need a little bit more help. And sometimes medications can help out a little bit, and that's available at Student Health as well.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you.
I think first and foremost, I just want people to know that we're here. Like students, we're here for you. Staff and faculty, we're here for you. I know they're in different ways. Don't ever feel like things have to get really bad to come see us. Like you're not going to come in and you're going to say, well, I'm only struggling a little bit. And we're going to say, why are you here? Like, come see us. I know nationally there's a lot of conversation about in university counseling centers, really long wait lists and really short treatment options. And we're really lucky here. Like we can get students in usually within a week. And so we don't have a wait list. You call and you get an appointment. So just come see us. Mm-hmm. And if there's ways you want to collaborate, prevention, you want to have education, you want all of us here on this screen to come visit you in one group, we do that too. Like,
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm really glad that you brought up, like, you don't have to be what your idea of like mentally ill enough or you don't have to have like a huge, gigantic issue. Like I'm a firm believer that every single human could benefit from a little dose of therapy. And, breaking that stigma is really important. So thank you for saying that. And, oh, yes, Meredith?
I wanted to add something really quick that Heather made me think of. I don't only talk to students about something that has happened during their time on campus. I've had students who are, like Heather talked about, like it's very often that people wait to disclose, wait to seek support, wait to talk about this issue, which is really understandable. But if a student who was a survivor of childhood sexual abuse or anything like that is just struggling in general, they can chat with me too. So it's not just confined to acute, right after things happen. I am here just every step of that way. So
thank you for saying that. I think that's really helpful because, no one's healing process is the same and everyone has their own process. It's not linear. And so it's important to know that you're available at any point. Alrighty, so our last question of the day is, what is the most important thing students and employees can do to help address sexual assault on and off campus? So really, what can people on campus do to change our culture around that? How can we be an anti-assault campus, as against it, as against rape culture, all of the things as we can be? How do you believe that we can make that change?
So twofold answer here. My first is just to take our trainings, to learn, to educate yourself on what these things look like and then what you can do about it. Our office provides a lot of different types of training. We have a sexual harassment training for the workplace. We have a more broader discrimination and harassment training for the workplace. And these are more targeted towards employees, but that also includes student employees. So that's, it's available to a lot of folks. We do a lot of 101 type trainings for our office as a whole, and then Title IX specifically. And we can come, we can come to classrooms, we can, do these virtually. We are working on getting some online recorded modules as well. And so those are all available. And then we are very excited that we will be rolling out this summer a new platform for our mandatory training. And so that's training that all incoming students and transfer students have to take. And then we're working on the logistics to make sure graduate students and other folks also have to take it. And that we're also looking at mandating training for employees as well. So there's a lot of things that are still in the works right now, but education, learning the terminology, learning the language around these things is huge. And then we also offer, I work with CAPS and with student conduct to do a bystander intervention training, which has gotten fairly positive reviews. A lot of people really enjoy that training. And also it gives a lot of practical tips on things folks can actually do to step in, how to safely do that, knowing when to and when not, all those kinds of things are covered. And so training is huge. And then the other piece of it is, we don't want to be a big brother type of campus, but we also want folks to feel comfortable reporting to us. Reporting to us then allows us to address things, especially if there are patterns, if we're seeing the same names come up a lot, those types of things. We really want to have that information. And so training and reporting are the ways that I think folks on campus and off campus could best address this for us.
For sure, for sure. Thank you so much.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. For education, educating yourself about what certain things look like, what resources are out there. But along with that, trust your gut, trust your instincts about where you're at, who you're with, or if something doesn't feel right. And if you think, I don't know if I should make that, go ahead and make that call. Make that call to any one of these groups out here, any one of these resources. If it's us, that's fine too. I again, we'll get you where you need to go. But I'd rather get calls of, well, nothing actually happened. I'd much rather get those calls, or I just wasn't sure. I wasn't 100%. That's fine. My services are free.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to get charged for that. Not going to get charged for the call, anything like that. Not going to get charged for us coming out there. I'm not sending a bill to anybody. So, and I'm pretty sure that's mostly across the board here too on all these other resources. So, that we're here for you 24/7, and we just need to know. We need that call. And if you feel like maybe I should, or I don't know, absolutely go ahead.
Oh yeah. Better safe than sorry, always.
Absolutely.
And definitely, like you said, when you get calls coming in or when our different offices on campus get reports, I think it's important for students to know that like we very obviously do all work together. And when reports come in, if it's not coming into the right place, it will get to the right place and you will get the services that you need. So I think that's really important.
I appreciate everything everyone said about education and resources and training and things like that. And I wholeheartedly agree. And the willingness to have hard conversations, I think, is really important. I think on a more kind of smaller micro focus, I would say what we can do to change the culture around this is if your friend or someone discloses to you, believing them and supporting them, we're not the judge and jury. It can have a huge impact on someone's trajectory going forward to feel supported and believed and validated. So I would really encourage folks to understand these often don't look like what we think they're going to look like. It's not always, a stranger in an alley. It's often someone close, someone trusted. It's extraordinarily confusing. So being just attuned to the nuance that exists with this type of experience that many people have, and being willing to listen, and then hopefully having the awareness of resources or being that trusted person that can help navigate moving forward. So just believing folks.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's so important.
I guess what I would say in this context is that any sort of trainings can include some sort of sexual assault awareness information, because even when we're going and doing our P for Pizza events, for instance, or, we ask the question, have you ever had unwanted sexual contact? Because you never know where that one day you might have somebody tell you something that's been affecting them for so long and has been so traumatic for them, and they just didn't know what to do about it, and making sure that they understand that you are a safe person to talk to again. Then the other thing I would say is also just kind of remembering some of the microaggressions that can occur. Maybe it's not just sexual assault, but it could start out with something small, could just be just as effective at harming somebody's psyche as sexual assault is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Marcy, before you take off here, I wanted to revisit something Meredith said about believing somebody. I've experienced it in my role where somebody had been the survivor of a sexual assault from years before, for several years, and it had become so normalized to them. They were talking about it with me just like I'm talking to you. Not the whole picture that sometimes we get shown in movies and TV about how somebody breaks down. It was just normal conversation because it was so normalized. So giving that person that opportunity to tell their truth, their story to you, and like Meredith said, and offering that belief to them and helping them out from there.
Definitely.
Absolutely, to everything that has been said. I think the only thing I would add to it is the most important thing I think that every individual at WSU can do is to decide that you are part of the solution. This is not something that is, I'm not part of the problem, so it's not an issue for me. This is our community. And we want this to be a community of safety, and each individual needs to choose to be a part of that you are going to believe people when they talk to you, that you are going to take trainings, that you are going to, engage in a bystander intervention when you see something happening. Like, decide that you were part of the solution. Make that choice individually.
Definitely. Thank you for that, Marcy.
Yeah.
I think that's so important.
I just wanted to add, I have to come in with my, compliance hat on. It does look a little bit different in my office in terms of the believing. I think that what everyone has said here is very correct for your positions, and ours is a little bit different, mostly in that, when someone comes to us, it is their opportunity to be heard and to be listened to have their information taken seriously. And we are required and do maintain a very fair, neutral, unbiased approach to these investigations, because it's all information gathering from our perspective. But what we want to make sure folks know is that anyone who comes through my door, whether you're a complainant, whether you're a respondent, whether you're a witness, if you're a third-party reporter who just has questions, I'm going to hear you. I'm going to listen to you. You're going to have the opportunity to speak your piece. And there is not going to be any judgment. There's no prejudgment happening here. You're going to have the opportunity to be heard, to get all of the information out that you want to share, all of the witnesses that you want me to talk to, all of the evidence that you want me to review. All of those things are going to happen, and they're going to happen for anyone. And so my hope is that when you leave my office or when you leave my Zoom meeting, that you're going to have felt like you had every opportunity to share, and that you got to share everything that you wanted to share with me, and that I was listening and hearing you.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing that. Well, we have reached the end of the questions I have for you all. If you have anything that you're really, really dying to say and you want to add, now is your chance. But other than that, thank you so much for coming to this panel. Thank you for giving me the chance to moderate. It's been really fun to spend some more time with you all before I'm out of here. So yeah, if you have anything to add, go for it. But if not, then that's all I have for you all.
Just that I am super grateful for everyone who is on this panel today, that I couldn't do my job without any of you. And so thank you all. And thank you, Caitlin, for moderating today.
Thank you. Awesome. Yay.
All right. So I think with that, we'll go ahead and end.
Good job, Caitlin.